Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
Hi, I'm Logan.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another amazing episode of Youth Connect. I hope that you guys are excited for something absolutely awesome. As per usual, for those who don't know, what in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. And everyone here is advocates for all abilities, and as broadcasters, entertainers, and more, we want to be including opportunities for acting, directing, writing, chefs, speakers, musicians, you name it, and we want to do it. But you know what? I'm definitely excited for this because you should know with Youth Connect, you're going to be getting a ton of awesome news. So, what's going to go on? Well, usually what we have to start off with is some gaming news. All right, guys, so usually this first thing that we have to do is our spotlight game of the week, but I really wanted to really get into the focus about what in the world is a video game. So I've heard somebody in our chat asked us one time, what's a video game? And I kind of got scared because I was like, oh, he doesn't know what a video game is. Well, I am here to share with you some history about the start of video games, because what if you don't know? So how did video games begin into society? Well, imagine this, guys. It's the 1950s and the 1960s. Very big computer scientists began designing simple games and simulations on these things called mini computers and mainframes. And after the development and to start off the main process of working with these computers, they decided to formulate and program a game to show off the capabilities of their brand new machine that was coming out. And one of their amazing games was called Space War. What was Space War? Space War was the first game ever created in 1962. And it was developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And as you can see on the screen, there is not much detail to this game. And why is that? Well, it was the very first game ever, guys. Obviously, it can't be too specific. But what was Space Wars? Well, if you really want to dumb it down a little bit, a few years later, there was a hit game called Asteroids. And guess what? Space War was the exact same game. So Asteroids was the first ever game created by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or the MIT, in 1962. That is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, guys, I will also say this for some extra knowledge. Did you guys know that the first video game console is the Magnavox Odyssey? It was a weird white box thing with a strange-looking controller. It was really interesting to our time controllers, which are really small. This one was a giant, janky white box with a turn dial. It was really, really strange, guys. And the first arcade video games, guys, are Computer Space and Pong. Now, I will say this, after Pong's many home console conversions, numerous companies sprang up to capture Pong's success in both the arcade and by obviously home by cloning the game, creating a series of knockoffs to be made. But after Pong was made, so did many amazing games, and to the start of the video game series, Atari was born. And after Atari, the games kept on getting better and better and looking greater and greater and more fun to play. And eventually, we come across what we know today as the amazing world of video games and the amazing genres that it has. So, guys, imagine that. Just trying to show off the capabilities of a computer and accidentally developing the first game ever created, and to then create much more amazing games. Oh, thank you so much, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Thank you so much you guys developed the first video game. And without you guys, I don't think we would have had video games until a few years later. But who's up next? Next up is Kevin with some all-important news.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect with me, Kevin Aruja. For now, let's go to the headlines. The Ontario Line driverless trains reveal a new sneak peek video. The tight three-way race in Ottawa area by election. Toronto Blue Jays unveiled the new Rogers Centre renovation plans for 100 level. And Leaf announced goaltender Matt Murray will be placed on long-term injury reserve. For the first time, Toronto residents have been offered a sneak peek into the Ontario Line vehicles will look like. Metrolinx released on digital renderings of the subway cars on Twitter on Wednesday afternoon. Driverless and described as fully autonomous. The sleek subway car will feature digital screens, onboard Wi-Fi, and charging ports, bike parking, and wheelchair access. The stations will also be equipped with platform edge doors, following widespread demands for that feature on existing TTC infrastructure. Metrolinx says that once the Ontario line is completed, it will accommodate nearly 400,000 daily trips and reduce crowding on the TTC's busy Line 1 by up to 15%. The 15-stop, 15.6 kilometers Ontario line will run from Exhibition Place through the downtown core along Queen Street before heading north to the Ontario Science Centre. It is currently scheduled to be completed by 2031. The Ontario Liberals will have an early lead in the provincial by-election in Scarborough on Guildwood, while a tight three-way race is underway in Carleton. Sorry about that. The Scarborough riding was vacant in May when Mitzi Hunter resigned her Liberal sent to run in the mayoral by-election. Andrea Hazel has about 35% of the vote with almost half of the polls reporting, while Gary Crawford was about 30%. It is much closer than in the Ottawa area riding of Carleton, which has been without a representative since Marilee Fulton abruptly resigned her cabinet post with her seat in March. Residents of the East Toronto riding just voted last month in a mayoral by-election, which came just 8 months after the general municipal elections, and it has been only 13 months since the last provincial general election. A third provincial by-election will have to be called in Kitchener Centre in the next few months, after NDP Representative Laura May Lindo resigned this month. A new look at Rogers Centre will give fans to the 100 level in a new view. The Toronto Blue Jays unveiled details plans for Phase 2 of its Rogers Centre renovations on Thursday, detailing how the current 100 level seating bowl and structures will be fully demolished at the end of the 2023 season. The new seat will be installed more from full pole to foul pole, oriented towards the infield for improved viewing specifically for baseball. The new 100 level seats will have additional legroom, slats on the back that provide more airflow, wider seats between the dugouts, cup holders throughout, adaptable raisable armrest options, and handrails in every aisles. Designed specifically for baseball viewing, the renovations will have all the seats oriented towards the infield, improved sidelines with less obstructions, and new seats closer to the field because of a remodeled bowl structure. Major renovations of the 34-year-old stadium in downtown Toronto began after the 2022 seasons, originally designed as a multi-purpose venue that has previously also been home to the NBA's Toronto Raptors and CFL's Toronto Argonauts. The renovations are designed to make the venue baseball specific. As part of Phase 1 of the renovations, all the seats in the 500 levels were replaced with new patios and gathering areas added out to the field. In sports news, Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender Matt Murray is out indefinitely and will be placed on long-term injured reserve before the start of the 23-24 season, the team was announced on Wednesday. The 29-year-old went 14 out of 2 with .903 save percentage and the 3.01 goals against average in 26 games in 22 to 23 following last summer's trade with the Ottawa Senators. The Thunder Bay, Ontario native won back-to-back Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2016 and 2017. Murray has one season remaining on a 4-year US $25 million contract he signed with Ottawa in October 2020 after being acquired from Pittsburgh in a trade. He was set to come close for $1.69 million against the salary cap next season after the Senators retained 25% of his wages in the trade with Toronto. As things stand, the Leafs will head into training camp with Ilya Samsonov and youngster Joseph Wall as their goalies. Samsonov was awarded a 1-year with $3.55 million deal in the arbitration over the weekend. And in today's weather forecast, we've got sunny this afternoon. The temperature is now 30 degrees. And tomorrow we will get a mix of sun and clouds. The temperature will be 25 degrees. And now for an interesting fact, you see this new picture behind me? I don't know if you can see. It's with owls. Yes, this is a new topic for an interesting fact. So what is owl? Well, let's see. Owls are members of a Strigoniformes order which contains over 200 species. Their size range from 15 centimeters, about 5.91 in, to 70 centimeters, about 2.3 feet, with wingspans between 0.5 meters and 2 meters. Owls have large round heads, flat face, and forward-facing eyes. They have downward-facing, hooked beaks, and soft feathers that are varied in color. They also have sharp claws and relatively large feet. Some type of owls also have ear tufts above their face. Classified as birds of prey, owls hunt other living things under the special adaptations and unique abilities that set him apart from the other species of birds. They generally feed on small mammals, mostly rodents, and some species are known to eat smaller birds and insects. Think you know all about owls? Here are some interesting facts you might not know. A group of owls is called a parliament. Owls have claws called talons to help them catch food. Owls can turn their heads as far as 270 degrees. 270 degrees. The owl features are colored to provide camouflage. Their vision is long-sighted, so owls can see things clearly up close. Many owls have the asymmetrical ears. The smallest owl in the world is the elf owl. They are between 12 centimeters, about 4.72 inch, and 15 centimeters, about 5.91 in tall. Barn owls don't only roost and nest in barns, they can roost and nest in cavities, trees, and nesting boxes. Some owls species hunt fish. Most owls are nocturnal and hunt at night, but you can sometimes see them hunting at dusk. Some species, such as the little owl, are diurnal, meaning they hunt during the day. So, anyways, though, we come to the end of my segment. Tune in for next week's news, weathers, and very own interesting fact. I'm sending you back to Aiden. See you next Friday.
Okay, so I will say this, Kevin. I love the news, but I'm interested to know about the owl. So I have to say this. For 270 degrees, that's quite a bit, guys. If I could do it, I could turn my head only 100 to 160 to 180 degrees. But imagine if you guys can go turn your head completely backwards. Would you scare somebody? Do you think if you could turn your head like that, would you scare somebody if you had the ability to turn your head completely backwards? You guys thinking about it? Thinking about it? If you were an owl, would you scare people by turning your head completely backwards?
No, I don't think so.
You wouldn't scare anybody with that? Kevin, it's such an amazing power. You'd be like,
I don't
ooga
think
booga.
it's scary, though.
Ah! Exactly.
That's
I would
scary.
scare people by doing that. I'd be like, "Hello," answering them from behind you. Look, I can't even do it. Look. Okay, I better not do it too much, or
Okay.
else my head's gonna spin like woo. Okay. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your all important news. And you know what, guys? I absolutely loved it. And if you loved it, make sure to like and comment. Anyways, time to move on to our second gaming news. Now, I would be saying usually this is some gaming news, but as we just did in the very first one, our Spotlight Game of the Week, we got to do. Oh, yeah, wait, sorry, I apologize there. Instead of doing our history for the first one, our second one will now be our Spotlight Game of the Week. Either a game that I want you to check out that is released recently, a game that's coming out, or an old classic. And today's Spotlight Game of the Week is Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. So, for anybody of the Double Dragon series, prepare to throw down the Double Dragon way in this fresh addition to the iconic beat-em-up franchise. It's the year 1990X, and nuclear war has devastated New York City, leaving its citizens to fight for survival as riot and crime engulf the streets. Oh dear. The city has been overtaken by criminal gangs who terrorize its ruins as they fight for total dominance. Unwilling to endure these conditions any longer, young Billy and Jimmy Lee, they're my brothers, will take it upon themselves to drive the gangs out of their city. So basically, you'll be exploring the early beginnings of the young Double Dragon brothers as they take on new and familiar enemies in this alternate story. In this fresh roguelike take, every playthrough is a brand new chance at new action, featuring a unique and dynamic level structure. The difficulty of the missions you take on will change depending on the order you have selected them. Sounds pretty interesting, and I like that it doesn't follow that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do 5, 3, 2, 1, 4, or whatever decision I want to do, because you know what? It has the possibility to do that. So, guys, if you love Double Dragon, I recommend you check out Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, and check out my brothers, Billy and Jimmy. Anyways, though, this has been your second gaming news. And next up is Joshua with some good story news. And I know our fan favorite, animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to You Connect Now for a good news story. Sam Farr has snapped a picture of himself in a barber chair every decade since the 1970s, and while the camera model changes over time. And it's the same two good friends, a barber and his friend and his customer, just getting older together. In 1973, the newspaper photographer snapped a black and white selfie while his stylish barber Joe Pace was giving him a trim in Bath, England. Sam went on to take a picture of 5 times in 50 years. That is one time picture every 10 years at the barbershop called Giuseppe's of Bath. In each photo, the barber's smile gets bigger as their friendship grows, and Sam is seen supporting a new camera each time, ending at age 78 with an iPhone. His daughter, Nikki, says this year's picture will likely be his last due to his battle with Parkinson's disease because it's hard for him to hold a camera anymore. She says the tradition has been lovely for him and them as a family. In addition, Joe has always been a close friend to them, and the pictures constantly come up on social media. The lovely thing is they always comment on how happy Joe the barber looks. Sam, who is a former photojournalist for the Bath Evening Chronicle newspaper, remarked with a twinkle in his eye, "I have always stuck with Joe because if I keep coming back, he might get it right on one day." Now for another good news story. Get ready to fall in love with the sincerity of this 11-year-old Texan boy who went to a neighbor's house asking if they knew any kids in the area because he really needed some new friends. The heartbreaking and then heartwarming interaction between Shaden Walker and his neighbor Brendan Ray was caught via doorbell security camera and triggered a viral storm of offers for friendship on social media. I just wanted to see if you knew any kids around, like, or maybe the boy can be. I just wanted to see if you any kids around like 11 or 12, maybe the boy can be heard saying in the video, I needed some new friends, like really bad. Ray suggests some kids in the area of Amarillo, Texas, but Shaden replies that he doesn't see them anymore because they're bullies. Ray then says that Shaden wanted to, to if Shaden wanted to, he could play with his daughter, but she was only 2 years old. To which the young man replies, oh great, I love 2-year-olds. To be honest, they're like the most cutest thing I've ever known. Ray was struck by Shaden's honesty and manner and took to TikTok to try and solve his problem. Ray uploaded a TikTok video with a caption saying, you never know what you're going through until you get a chance to talk to them. This young man is well-mannered, kind, and brave, so TikTok, can we help Shaden make some friends? To his surprise, the video now garnered an absolutely staggering 69 views. To his surprise, the video now garnered an absolutely staggering 69 million views. Shaden has been diagnosed with several mental disorders, and his mom said he's always had trouble maintaining friends. But after the TikTok video, he now has friends in China, the UK, and Hawaii and Australia. The two families are extremely close after the ordeal, and Shaden does in fact play with their daughters despite all his new friends. Now turning to animal interest news. A Nova Scotia woman is behind a children's book that captures real-life squirrels doing decidedly human things. Nancy Rose has combined her love of nature and photography and channeled it into her pet project that is a children's book called The Secret Life of Squirrels. She makes squirrel size and sets props by hand. She then awaits for the little visitors to provide the perfect photo opportunity. Squirrels will stand up and look like humans, so they will stand up on a miniature grocery cart, and they are just so curious, says Rose. She has a few tricks to capture the perfect scene, but mainly she just has to be the fast in snapping up the photos. Once all has been set up, just like all wildlife photographers, she waits and waits and waits for the star of the show to make their appearance. Rose jokingly says the squirrels are wild, but they do every domestic things. They play piano, they make pancakes, they do laundry, they go for candlelight dinners, says Rose. They do what we do, and they have their secret little world. Rose has 2 books and is working hard on a third. Rose has 2 books out and is working on a third, and says she loves to share that world with her readers. Rose never knows what her furry friends will do or where they'll go next. She's just glad to be part of their adventure. This is Joshua Show reporting for Youth Connect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
I think the most intriguing one was Nancy Rose. Imagine having your whole life dedicated to documenting squirrels. But you know what? I gotta say, those pictures looked absolutely amazing because it kind of looked a little bit Photoshopped. Let me be honest. Like, imagine just having a squirrel just come up to like a set, look around, see how it looks, and then like you're having literally just a whole entire book written and kind of just having pictures of squirrels doing regular human things like going shopping and being at the pool. There is definitely something funny about it. But you know what? Everybody has their own way of their life. And I got to say, this is definitely one thing that I've seen that is truly something really funny. Did you guys like that one? Did you thought the squirrel was funny? Because I thought the squirrel was funny.
I thought that was hilarious. It's like seeing
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Yeah.
shopping cart. Just
You know what? It is awesome to see that, especially when animals are doing human things. It definitely gives you a little bit of a giggle.
Mhm.
So I will say that was awesome news, Joshua. I also like the Texan boy. Imagine, guys, going to every single door asking for friends. I actually saw the video myself. And literally, he was so respectful in the way that he was asking for friends. And you know what? It makes me feel sad. But you know what? Having 69 million people supporting him now, that's the way to do it. You get viral some way, and that was a great way. And I bet you he has tons of friends now.
I like the first news too. That was very interesting.
So thank you so much, Joshua. And now, guys, usually we would do this, but now we're going to move on to our third gaming news. And what is our third gaming news? Our third gaming news is going to be our board game of the week, similar to our video game of the week, but now it's a board game. And for those who are confused, usually we would go to Nibras, but since Nibras is not here, we're going to go straight into our board game. So, what is today's board game of the week? Well, today's board game of the week is Earthbound Rangers. So, what is Earthbound Rangers? It's a game all about being a ranger. It is a customizable cooperative card game set in the wilderness of the far future. You take on the role of a ranger. I mean, by the name alone, I would expect that. A protector of a mountain valley you call home. A vast wilderness transformed by monumental feats of science and technologies devised to save the earth from destruction long ago. Ooh, kind of sounds like real life a little bit. You begin by building a deck to reflect your ranger's interests, personal history, and personality. Then, as you explore the open world and your story takes shapes, you augment your deck with improved equipment, refined skills, and the memories of your journey. So, guys, the story of Earthborn Rangers is presented as a branching narrative, narrative. Oh my goodness, guys, narrative campaign consisting of a main storyline and a multitude of side stories. So, guys, it's sort of like this RPG story standpoint, and you guys know I love that. And guys, in it, you can choose to follow the critical path or to strike off on your own to discover the valley's many engaging characters, mysterious ruins, and beings both familiar and strange. You know what? Sounds pretty interesting. It kind of has an aspect of nature, but also has an aspect of the future. And technology is kind of creating these brand new ecosystems, and you'll find maybe even a giant squirrel. I want to talk to a giant squirrel. What's this giant squirrel's name? You're going to have to find out in the amazing board game of Earthborn Rangers. This board game actually looks really good, guys. I think I might need to check it out. If you ever have a board game that you want to suggest, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, next up, who do we have? Next up is Logan. I just cannot wait to hear what cooking knowledge he has to share with us today.
Hello, Youth Connect. I'm Logan, and today will be the second part of my multi-part series about sauces. So in the previous episode, we talked about the 5 French mother sauces, and today I will be talking about condiment sauces. So, it's a nice looking day out there, perfect time for a barbecue, and so I'm going to go over a few of the common condiment sauces and how you can make them at home. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about what exactly separates something like a sauce from a condiment. And as it turns out, there isn't really anything that separates the two. Rather, it's how you use said sauce determines whether or not it can be called a condiment. So by definition, a condiment is used as a filling for foods like sandwiches, burgers, hot dogs. You get the gist. Whereas a sauce is commonly used to cover said food instead of filling it. Say, for instance, an Alfredo sauce. You don't put Alfredo sauce on like a hot dog. You cover pasta in Alfredo sauce. So anyway, the first condiment sauce that I'm going to talk about is a classic one. You all know it. We all love it. It's ketchup. So in order to make ketchup at home, it's actually super simple. It's basically just 3 ingredients. Those being tomato paste, vinegar, and sugar. And you just put it in a saucepan and you cook it down until it's nice and thick and sweet. From there, you simmer and add spices. Common spices added to ketchup are stuff like garlic powder, and onion powder. Then you just refrigerate, let it cool down, and then it's ready to serve. And so the next sauce that typically would accompany ketchup as a condiment is mustard. And so mustard is a little more complicated to make the ketchup because what you need are mustard seeds. And what you do with those is that you simmer the mustard seeds in a mixture of water and vinegar. You have to simmer it for pretty long until they're completely soft. From there, you get your blender and you blend it until it's a uniform color, and that is how it will get its yellow color, and it will also thicken it up. From there, you can add your seasonings and some spices, some pretty common mustard spices and stuff like paprika, and you can also perhaps add turmeric to help brighten up the yellow color. Alternatively, instead of using mustard seeds, you can just use mustard powder, which is just ground up mustard seeds. And for this step, you wouldn't even have to blend it afterwards. So the next condiment I will go over is mayo. And so to make mayo at home, you commonly heard the word aioli buzzing around, and yeah, that's basically just a homemade fancy mayo. So what you do is you whisk together egg yolks and an acid, typically lemon juice or vinegar, until it's nice and uniform. Then you continue whisking, and while you do that, you're like making this whisking motion. You slowly stream in, very, very slowly, I must add, stream in an oil, typically like vegetable oil or perhaps peanut oil. And what I'll do is it'll lighten up the color from the yellow of the egg yolks to a very pale white. And so from there, you just season it. Now you could just whisk it, but if you want your mayo to be extra white, like the stuff that you see from like you got the big jar of Hellmann's, then it would be recommended to use a food processor instead. The next condiment I will talk about now is barbecue sauce. So to make barbecue sauce at home, it first actually starts with a previous condiment, ketchup, and vinegar, which you simply cook down in a saucepan. From there, you add molasses. Now, I've talked about molasses before. It's a dark sugar syrup, and it's going to give the barbecue sauce that iconic brown color. And it'll also add sweetness. From there, you simply season it, and you add common barbecue spices like onion powder, garlic powder, mustard powder, paprika, etc. The list goes on. And so barbecue sauce is a very customizable sauce. You know that certain regions of the world do barbecue sauce differently. Some of them are very viscous and sweet. Some of them are like a little more runny and more tangy. That's because they add more vinegar into it. So you can just tweak the ingredients however you like, depending on what type of barbecue sauce you would prefer. And so the final condiment sauce that I will talk about is relish. Now you should probably know this, but relish is made from pickles. It's basically like a pickle puree. And so to make relish, it starts off the same way that you would make something like a dill pickle with cucumbers. What you do is you take a box grater and you just grate the cucumbers into little, small, tiny pieces. And you just squeeze out all the water that's inside them. From there, you make a pickling liquid out of vinegar, water, salt, sugar, and some common pickling herbs like dill or peppercorns. And then you just add the cucumber into the pickling liquid, and you just cook it together for a couple minutes until the mixture is nice and thick like relish. And so that concludes the 5 condiment sauces that I wanted to talk about today, as well as the explanation at the beginning about what separates a condiment from a sauce. So anyway, that would just about do it for today. Back to you, Aiden.
Thank you so much, Logan. We learned about ketchup. We learned about mustard. We learned about relish. We learned about barbecue sauce as well. You know what? Now I think I might need to make my own condiments then instead of just buying them at the store. They don't seem that difficult. I feel like I could do it. Thank you, Logan, for giving me the encouragement to do it. And guys, I'm here to bring you a quick news about a movie. That's right. I'm bringing some entertainment news because we need it. We want it. And what is that? Well, today I want to talk to you about the Barbie movie. So, actually, a few days ago, our Super Ability crew went to see an amazing summer movie. And guys, I gotta say that the Barbie movie was absolutely fantastic. If you're wondering about the story, it's nothing too insane. It basically is like this. Barbie is a perfect being. But what happens is that Barbie is exiled from Barbie Land because of her imperfections. And basically, when her home is in peril, Barbie returns with the knowledge that what makes her different is also what makes her stronger. I don't think she was exactly exiled, but she really just went on her own to really kind of figure out what's going on. First off, it started off as why am I changing? To why am I fighting for stuff? To why am I why this is why I'm fighting for. It was great. It was absolutely brilliant. And if you guys want to keep an eye out, look for the character Alan, because that character is so mean. Make sure you guys watch the Barbie movie. Don't listen to what the reviewers say, because honestly, if you look past it all, it's a really, really good movie. Anyways, though, this has been some quick movie review. And next up, who do we have? We always have to add our cherry on top. Our live musician, Jeffrey.
Hi, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician, and I'm going to play one of my original songs. It's called Cookie, I Love You. It's a reggae song, so hope you enjoy it. Just gotta say, when you look at me in that special way, I love you, smell you, feel you in my mouth. Love you, cookie, I truly do. Wanna have my heart as you do. Let me, don't you want to feel my own question before I'm planning more, 5, 6. Love will mix 7, 8. Love is real, it definitely fake. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, you're so true. Cookie, you multiply my feelings for you. Your grandpa bites gonna go thumping. South Center gets my hips a bumping. My time remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams, this is a race. I've got to know my face. Let me, don't you want to feel my own impression before planning the whole 5, 6. Love will mix 7, 8. Love is real, it definitely fades. Clock stop, there's no rush. Cookie, I truly love you. Till you are a mash. Cookie, I love you. Yeah, man, are you feel it? Your grandpa fights get the blood thumping. His offset gets my hips a bumping, yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams disarray. I've got to do my thing. Let me down to 1, 2. They're my own oppression before. Planning on 5, 6. I love the mix 7, 8. Love is real. It's definitely fake. Clock step. There's no rush. Cookie, I truly love you. Till you are a mash. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, I love you. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician, and I'll see you all next week. And make sure to check out my website, jeffreyakerman.com. And that's back to you, Aiden. Bye, everybody.
Absolutely awesome, Jeff. I thought that was amazing as per usual. You guys know how amazing Jeff is. And guys, we have reached the end of our Youth Connect. I know it's kind of sad, but it's okay because we'll always be on next week. If you liked Youth Connect, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Other than that, guys, we will see you all next time. Catch you later and have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Goodbye.
Bye.